11th Navigating the American Carbon World Conference. It's really a tremendous honor and opportunity for us to be here. I'm personally humbled by the number of people that have come to this conference, by the support we get from all of you climate leaders, the policy leaders, carbon market professionals. It's truly a remarkable and incredible event. And it's one of those events that started really with a small idea. Oddly enough, you think, well, we were originally the California Climate Action Registry when we started out 11 years ago with just some 20 members and a handful of supporters, and we held a members meeting, and I think that members meeting was held right here in San Francisco, in fact, 11 years ago, and it had 50, 60 people at the members meeting. We have more than that, actually, as speakers over the next 2 days in this conference. We have grown tenfold. We'll have over 600 people attending this conference, and that's a tremendous testament to the sort of resilience of the idea that we need to, as a people, as a society, address the serious threat of global climate change. We are on the front lines working, and it may not always look like it when you're in a hotel ballroom like this, but these are the people, all of you, who are working in climate policy and in the carbon market, helping us to achieve the kinds of emission reductions, the kind of economic transformation that we need to get to. And sometimes it feels like it's slow going, sometimes it's a slog, but we are on the path, and it's the path that it makes it clear that we are achieving some successes are the examples like California that has launched its market, and like all of the international leaders you're going to hear from in just a little bit. But just sort of on a more basic level, putting on this kind of conference is a tremendous amount of work, as you can well imagine. We actually, as a staff, start planning for this conference well before Thanksgiving. Early November, we sit down, start thinking about what are we going to do, how are we going to do it, who's going to take care of what. We start putting together a very basic agenda, start identifying speakers. And it's been since November through now mid-April that we have worked as a team. And I want to thank all of my staff, hard-working, dedicated staff who, in addition to actually running the premier carbon offset registry in North America, are also take on the task of designing and putting on a conference. So I want to extend my thanks to all of my staff, to Jennifer Weiss in particular, our communications director, who handles all of our media relations and communications and is our conference organizer. So thank you, Jenny. I think you're back there somewhere. It's a little difficult to see. But I also want to thank Duke University and the Nicholas Institute. They are our program partner now for the second year, helping us put together the agenda, the panels and the speakers that you're going to enjoy and learn from over the next 2 days. So thanks to Duke University and Tim Profeta in particular, the director of the Nicholas Institute and one of my directors on my board of directors. And a conference like this is also not possible without, frankly, the financial support of our sponsors. And so I do want to take a moment to really extend a heartfelt thanks to all of the sponsors. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We rely on this conference as a big part of our annual budget in terms of fundraising. And it's the sponsors who help support this conference that actually help support the work of the Climate Action Reserve. The list of sponsors is way too long for me to read off, and I think that's a great and tremendous testament. We actually sold out of exhibit booths this year. But in particular, I do want to thank Chevron as a platinum sponsor, the Natural Resources Defense Council as a platinum sponsor, Southern California Edison, and PG&E as gold sponsors. So thank you very much to those organizations who have long been supporters of the Climate Action Reserve. They've been very generous, and we certainly appreciate it. Finally, let me just say thank you to my own board of directors. In addition to putting on this conference, we hold our annual in-person board of directors meeting, and yesterday we had it. We had all of board members personally in attendance and personally engaged. My board is incredibly thoughtful, insightful, smart, experienced, diligent, and they share with me and this organization their time and their knowledge and their experience, and it really does help us achieve as an organization the successes we've had. So thank you to all of my board members who are here as well. I see some of you out there as well as I can see out through the lights. So with that, let me just introduce to you the chair of my board of directors, Linda Adams. And Linda is the former secretary for environmental protection here in the state of California. And she was instrumental in negotiating the adoption of AB 32 when she was in the governor's office. And it's for people like Linda who are visionary and have leadership and worked so hard to make sure that market mechanisms were in fact included in that bill, that we have the kind of market that's now developed here in California and hopefully will serve as a model for the rest of the nation and beyond, certainly with the linkage to Quebec. So I want to bring up Linda Adams and again extend my warm and heartfelt thanks to all of you for coming here today.
Thank you so much, Gary, and good morning, everyone, and thank you all for being here. I hope you all had a productive day yesterday, and I want to thank Gary and the reserve staff for another great conference. We have a really amazing program for you over the next couple of days. And I have to say, we have made some really great strides in the carbon world since we were all together at this time last year. California launched its carbon market and conducted 2 successful auctions, and I want to congratulate the state and the California Air Resources Board for the design of the market, and particularly Chairwoman Nichols, who will be here, also for all their hard work in launching the market. And of course, just last week, Governor Brown gave a green light to linking California's market with Quebec's market, our friends in Canada. And I was actually at a carbon market event in Germany last week, and the focus of the event was linking markets. So I had some very big news to talk about. Again, California is the big news around the world. So we've come a long way, baby. So I hope we have a great next couple of days. And now I want to introduce one of our very terrific board members. As Gary said, we have absolutely an amazing board. And Tim Profeta with Duke University spent a lot of time helping us design our program for the conference. We very much appreciate Tim's work. Tim is the founding director of Duke University's Nicholas Institute. And he also served as counsel to Senator Joe Lieberman. So I'd like to call on Tim, who will introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you, Linda, and thank you, Gary. If you'll permit me, just let me welcome you to the conference today on behalf of the Nicholas Institute at Duke University. This is the second year, as Gary mentioned, that we've partnered with CAR on the program, and then once again, it's been a wonderful and rewarding partnership. And thank you to Gary and to Jennifer and all the staff for the work. To me, this has become perhaps a seminal event on climate policy in the United States, and situated here in California, which has become somewhat the cockpit of climate policy for the country. And as a leader of an institute that's aimed at deploying the knowledge of a major research university to address the globe's environmental problems, there probably is no better platform from which we can work to help bring that knowledge to people like yourselves struggling in the face of the problem of climate change. So hopefully, over the next 2 days, you'll find we have been successful working with the CAR team in bringing you the right knowledge, the right insights to help you navigate the American carbon world. But with that brief introduction, really it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Christiana Figueres. We were spoiled at Duke University because we had the pleasure of getting to know Christiana well over the past 6 or so years as her daughter Naima attended our school. I understand she is now using that degree well to become one of the world's best salsa dancers. But then, I think, and onward to great things. And over those years, we came to know her as a leader and a champion in the global carbon world. Christiana is the Executive Secretary of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change at a seminal time in the history of the Framework Convention. That is just the latest step in a long history of service at the intersection of international relations and sustainability. I won't read through it all, but Christiana has blazed a brilliant path in her career, including over a decade as a negotiator on the Costa Rican climate negotiating team, service on the CDM board, where she led in the creation of programmatic CDM, and forming the Center for Sustainable Development of the Americas, for which she received the Hero of the Plan Award by the National Geographic magazine. All in all, Christiana is a star in the global carbon world. And as we prepare here to navigate our American carbon world over the next 2 days, I cannot think of a better person to serve as our first guide along the way. So please join me in welcoming Christiana Figueres.